You are now watching your mans in them live.
You are now rocking with your mans in them.
If you compromise, that's what it was. If you compromise, are you submissing? Submissing.
Are you submitting out?
Submitting, yeah.
Are you submitting?
Submitting.
Yes. All right. So are we gonna say the context of this?
Yeah, sure.
All
Let's
right.
bring
So
it
we
up.
were talking about what were we talking about?
Michelle Obama.
Oh yeah, Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, right?
Yeah.
She said that she had to compromise a lot in her relationship, some shit like that. And we had a what? We had
last episode.
I'm gonna let him do that.
Last episode we played the clip about Michelle's Obama. About Michelle Obama's view on young people relationships. She feel like we're in a rut. Like we don't have patience to stay in a relationship. If we see something wrong, we out. Like she was saying like 50-50, that's non-existent in a healthy relationship. It's a balance. You know, sometimes it's going to be 70-30. Sometimes it's going to be 60-40.
I agree.
Like it don't have to strictly be 50-50.
And then that's when I said that in every relationship, one person compromises more than the other.
Yeah.
Not saying like all across the board, but one person is more willing to be like, all right, I'm gonna let you have this than the other. And I think that's how a lot of relationships work.
And I'm not gonna lie, I feel sometimes the compromise or the sacrifice is circumstantial. Because I feel like sometimes it comes to a point where, hey, one person may be in school, so you may have to work a little harder because, you know, you're holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Or, you know, things of that nature, I feel like play a big effect when it comes to making that sacrifice or that compromise.
But when you play that factor, does that seem like I'm submitting, right? Like there's valid reason.
That's why I chose the word sacrifice instead of
It's
submitting.
submission.
Because the thing
It's not really submission because it's like I'm taking on, say my girl's going to school. I'm taking on the burden of, you know, taking care of the bills, going to work, doing a little extra so she can complete it. So say if now it's my turn to do it, I'm pretty sure she would do the same. She would make the same
I'm not
sacrifice.
talking about in like one scenario or one situation. I mean like what I was saying is in the relationship as a whole, one person usually compromises more than the other. So like a scenario where you have to take a back seat or like you have to sacrifice what you want to do for the good of your significant other, that's not what I'm talking about.
You talking about like in an argument or something?
Arguments or just in general. Who's the person who's gonna be like, you can have this. I'm gonna let you have this. Or I'm gonna let him have this. One person is usually leading the other, and the person who's not, in my opinion, is the one who's submitting.
I think submitting is. I mean, I guess you can use that term, but I wouldn't use that term. I think it's knowing your partner, right? Let's say you know your partner is stubborn. You don't always have to. You may seem like you're compromising, but you may have brought your point in a different way where you felt like you got it off, and that person may not initially like say, okay, you're right, but in their actions you can see that they understood your point. Like I don't think compromising is more of a submission thing in a sense. I think it's just a teamwork relationship thing. Like yo, okay, I don't think this affects me that much, so whatever. But at some point, there's going to be other times where I'm not going to compromise,
right?
And I'm gonna put my foot down. Yeah, but I don't think it's more of a submission thing. It's just a dynamic.
The person who's more stubborn and less willing to not go about their way is the one who's most likely leading the shit.
That's not leading. That's just that's not leading. I think that's more.
Pull it towards you.
That's not leading.
Don't put your lips on it.
I mean, he said it. Put it towards me.
Wait, what?
Hey, yo, what the?
Wait, what?
Yo. Nah, but I hear what you're saying. But I'm trying to get at you, and you're being stubborn right now. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to get you to look at a different way. So, in a sense, like, yeah, like it's a relationship dynamic, right? Like, I know you're stubborn, so. What sense does it take for me to keep arguing back and forth with you if you're not going to see it? Sometimes
you're submitting. You're letting the person win.
It's not winning. It's more so just all right. Like
all right. So submissive.
Yo,
the definition of submissive.
Whoa. Why you cutting me off?
I want to read this definition so y'all know.
Go ahead, player.
Submissive, ready to conform to the authority or will of others. So, if someone is being hard-headed, right? If someone's being hard-headed, they don't want to understand you, whatever like that, and you just like, you know what? Whether you walk away, well, it depends on your action, your response to it. So if you're saying
you're about to sugarcoat shit, bro.
What is your response to someone being hard-headed, Kyrie? If you're in an argument, she's not understanding you, she just want to hear herself. What is your response to that?
I think it depends on the situation, but if it's not that important to me, I'm gonna try different ways. Like I'm gonna try to break it down a different way. And if you're not getting it, I'm like, all right, I think how about this? Let's take a time out, you know, let's think about it, and then we can come back to talk about it later.
He's adapting.
Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit more adaptable in my relationship. I mean, it really depends on the situation. Sometimes I can be stubborn, but for the most part, I see myself as less stubborn. But I think it's more so having to do with how serious the issue is with me, right? I don't take a lot of things serious, so I may not like argue all my points all the time because I'll just be like, whatever, like it's not that deep. Versus my wife who will take things more serious, so she's willing to keep going back and forth because she wants me to understand her point. So
If your response was you're right, even though you know she's wrong, that's you submitting.
I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
But that's submissive, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's submissive.
Okay.
Austin, you got anything to say before I read the comments?
Mute.
All right.
He's submitting.
Jay Brown, he says, feel like as a man, we compromise more, especially with our feelings. Like we're not allowed to be mad or upset or disappointed. Well, let me tell you something, Jay Brown. On your Mans and Them Live, you are allowed to show your emotions.
Yes.
And you are allowed to say it how it is, brother.
It's a fact.
That's why you here.
This is the Equal Opportunity Podcast.
Exactly. Listen, brother, anything you got to say, you make sure you say it in this chat, and we got you. Lily says, agree, but I think the person who compromised the most fluctuates depending on the season they're in.
I actually think the person who compromises most actually leads the relationship because they're dictating how everything goes. You already are the one person who's stubborn so much. And
Your phone, you flashing your phone.
Oh,
everywhere.
shit, sorry.
The person that dictates the
Yo,
most.
I'm looking at the playback. First of all,
Nah, but
ready, yo.
I think if you're the one who compromises, you actually lead more. You're just not so out there with the leadership. You're like, okay, I'm gonna let you think you have that, but
That
deep
sounds
down,
like a
you don't got
rationalization.
shit.
I disagree.
That sounds like a...
If you're compromising, you're not getting your way.
You're not getting your way at that moment, but there may be other ways.
There's
you
a bigger
can get your
picture.
way.
You're doing it for the bigger picture.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
See, sometimes we call it compromising when we're actually losing, right? So I'm coming from the point of she wants this. You want that.
Right.
So you say,
Sounds about right.
let's do the other,
Okay.
right? She like, nah, I want to do this my way. You say whatever response, which is kind of like, okay, she's being stubborn. She wants this. All right. Because you can adapt to it. You can talk to yourself and say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And you
rationalize the
Yeah.
fact that she is getting her way. And you're like, you know what? Well, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
There's a bigger picture to this, which is peace.
Yeah.
And I think the person always trying to keep the peace is not necessarily the person always leading.
I got a different point of view. What if you're doing that so that in the end, you know you're right, and at the end of the day, they're gonna come back and be like, "Yo, you were right."
See,
That
I
sounds
agree.
toxic.
I agree.
Sometimes you gotta let people learn the hard
that's
way.
not toxic. Sometimes you gotta let shit play out. Like,
Yes.
okay, since
I
you-
can actually see that.
All right, see.
That actually makes some
All right,
sense.
it might not be. You might not see it from my perspective. Okay, let's do it your way.
Yes,
You do
Kind
it
of like how parents do to children.
right. Okay,
not in my household. This shit is going down my way.
I think Austin was kind of
Hold on, Shake was
agreeing
saying
with that
something.
because he was like, yo, that's the part of pettiness. People be petty to teach you a lesson.
I know it's toxic because I
feel
do
like,
it.
I don't feel like,
say he do that shit.
I don't feel
Me
like
too.
it's petty though. I feel like, all right, you have a certain perspective of seeing something, right? If you have that perspective, you're defending this to the end. All right, let's see how it plays out. Pardon. If
Damn, nigga, what the fuck was
That
that?
shit smell like Frank water.
That's fucked up.
Nigga say you got glizzy breath. Oh, shit.
oh, that's crazy.
I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that from Austin.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that is a
I'm
clip.
violating. You think I'm not gonna? I'm violating. He's gonna be sick. You gonna get it? You're going
Hey,
to get it.
yo.
I'm talking about getting back on the joke. What
All
you
right,
thinking
glizzy
about?
breath.
Don't be rude.
My second victim.
Don't be
I swear to
rude.
God.
Why is everything so personal with
don't
you
come
guys?
to my next show.
Whoa, that hurt.
I'm gonna violate you. Get your hands off. I don't want no citrus on my fucking shirt.
Let's laugh at his jokes, guys, because he's
Don't laugh at my jokes. Don't laugh at my jokes. Don't laugh at my jokes. It's happening. It's happening.
Why the fuck is their camera so fucking fresh? I don't understand. This is ridiculous.
Shout out again to everybody that's on the live right now watching us. We appreciate.
So basically, we haven't
appreciate y'all.
compromised
We are with y'all. You are with us.
to an
Let's
agreement.
have a great show, guys.
We haven't compromised to an agreement. Basically, we all have different opinions.
Nah, I feel like we all agree.
No, we don't all agree. Austin, well, I don't know Austin's point of view. Shake, I know your point of view.
My final message to this is this:
Why you smiling?
You're not compromising. You're not compromising.
He waiting for me to say
if
something.
you don't give in. A compromise is supposed to be like we both don't get what we want, but we agree to something that's in the middle.
I think
If that's not what you're doing, then it's not a compromise. That's what I'm.
All right,
There's
let me get
15
into these
people in
comments.
this
Let me get
live.
into these
Make
comments
sure
real
y'all
quick.
like the video,
Damn, nigga.
subscribe.
Let me do my thing.
Dang, comment police. Go ahead.
Big Joe says, I've always hated the term 50-50. Like, we giving 50-50, where the other 50 going? LOL.
To yourself.
Lily says, but the one person can't have it all the time. She says, I never thought about the other 50. Joe. Jay Brown says, compromise, submissive. Compromise just sounds more delicate. Wordplay is everything. Big Joe says, people say that, and I be like, you should show up trying to give 100% of yourself, but we are human and we go through things, so sometimes you can't give 100, and that's understandable. Reggie Porter says, compromise and submission aren't the same thing, but compromising is a component of submission. When you compromise, you come to a mutual agreement that's usually beneficial for both parties. I don't agree. I don't think that. Shout out Samantha Christie in the chat. She says, yes, Medea. Shake.
Yes, Medea.
I can't see the comment.
Yes,
She-
Medea.
yes, Medea, Jamaica in the building. Boom.
Bullet.
And Jay Brown says, compromise usually ain't mutual.
What?
He says compromising usually ain't mutual.
Then it's not a compromise. You just lost.
One person is compromising.
Reggie said by definition it's mutual.
We the only ones that wear the crown. It's your mans in them. It's your mans in them. It's your mans in them.